Track 18. The quiet things that no one ever knows. By the end of the Q1 gathering, the careful hope that once held Unit 13 at the seams had completely come apart. Not even a humble breakfast could salvage anything. Unit 13 still clung to the same smell along its walls like it always had. Jet could taste it in the air. The table between the kitchen wall and the narrow window looked smaller with just two trays on it. He spun the drawstrings of his sweatshirt around his thumb and fingers while he waited, winding and unwinding until a thread began to fray. Maddox stepped out from the relief room, already in his grays. His hair was slicked back, his jaw freshly shaved. He looked like someone about to run in a crucible instead of watching one. "So," Maddox said. His voice was calm, even warm. "How do we feel about today?" Jet forced a small word. "Fine." Maddox huffed a quiet laugh. "Fine, huh?" Maddox said. "Not sure fine is going to be enough." Jet kept twisting the strings of his kit. "I feel great. Ready to run." Maddox brought their rations over and set one down in front of Jet. "Great," Maddox said, sitting across from him. "That's what I want to hear." His dad looked at the orange light with hope. "That's what I wanted to hear," Jet muttered, but he picked up his utensil and picked up the bio-host in front of him. For a few breaths, no one spoke. Jet wanted nothing more than to be able to read his father. "What was that?" Maddox then asked. "Nothing. Just glad that you're feeling great too. It really gives me the edge I really needed to win today," Jet said. Maddox smiled like that was charming. Jet studied the smile carefully. He tried to decide if it was pride or a warning. With his father, it was usually both. He could never tell which one, though. "Well, all right then. Because second place is good, but it's not great." There it was. That word again. Second. Jet shrugged, staring at the bio-host as if it might rearrange itself into something more impressive. "It was a start," Maddox corrected gently. "You laid a foundation. Now you build on top of that." Jet stabbed a corner of his ration and lifted it like it weighed more than it should. "You're gonna fly today," Maddox continued. He took a careful sip from his cup. "You're right where you should be. Q1 was nothing. The real test happens now." He said it like he'd been rehearsing it on his way out of the relief room, like this breakfast had been scheduled. Jet twisted the strings tighter. The thread squeezed between his fingertips. Maddox leaned his elbows on the table. "Who else has someone to support you like this?" he asked. Something flickered behind Maddox's expression. Jet glanced up to try to read his father's face. "Because I'm here," Maddox said. "I'm the only one here." Jet thought of his mom as he felt the familiar pressure press down on his world. "I know," Jet said. "You're here. Front row seat." "Exactly," Maddox said. "And look at all the work we've done. The extra morning trainings, the extra runs after hours. No one else sees that." Despite himself, Jet's chest flickered with a small, dangerous swell of pride. "Yeah," he said, too quickly. "Yes, and that's why you'll rise above second today," Maddox said with conviction. There it was again. Second, like a mark on his soul. "Second's not bad," Jet said. He tried to sound casual. could have been worse. It could have been much worse, Maddox agreed. You could have fallen behind completely. You could have slipped out of sight. But you didn't. You held. Now we climb. Jet's hand slipped off the strings. For a heartbeat, he imagined the contraption hidden away where no one would ever look. The mystery of it, the feeling when he first found it, that weird, electric certainty that it was for him, that he was meant to see it. Maybe it's a way out, he thought, the idea flickering again, uninvited. Maddox went on. First is right there. You've got it. The question is not your body anymore. It's your faith. Okay, Dad, Jet said with a tone he didn't mean to bring out. Maddox didn't smile this time. He sat back, studying him. Do you even want this? Maddox asked. The question caught Jet mid-gaze at the wall of harmony. He coughed, set down his cup. Want what? Want what? Maddox said simply. Are you serious? Jet hesitated. Of course I want to win, Dad. That's always been our goal. I'm going to win. Will you? Maddox asked again, softer. Something bristled under Jet's skin. I'm the one in the garden, aren't I? Jet said, voice sharpening. What do you think I'm doing this for? He challenged his dad back. The strings twisted back up in his hand. He hadn't even felt his fingers move. Maddox lifted his palms, placating. I don't know. You just don't seem focused. The softness didn't land right. It never did. Maddox reached for gentleness like it was a language he only half knew. Jet paused, hoping he'd just shut up. I'm serious, Maddox said. His eyes had lost their softness now. Something steadier, colder, had slid in. You have to be clear. You can't go into the next crucible. Muddled. That's when contributors fall. That's when they get in their own way. I won't watch that happen to you. Jet's throat tightened. I want this, Dad. I don't know what you want from me, he said, hoping this would finally end. I want you to want it. Why do I want it more than you do? Maddox asked, almost pleading now. That was the part Jet didn't understand. He couldn't tell where his father's dream ended and his own began. Jet felt suddenly, stupidly small. He found himself glancing toward the kitchen Daisy usually occupied at this hour, humming hymns under her breath as she laced her shoes, reminding him to breathe, to stretch, to eat. But the kitchen was empty. So, are we going to talk about my mom? Jet grasped for light. It came out lighter than it felt, like he'd been waiting for an answer the entire time that he's been back in the root. Maddox blinked. What's there to talk about? It's over? Nothing else needs to be said, he said, without looking at his son. Well, I don't know what's up with her, Jet said. He stared at the bio-host on his tray like it might answer back. Maddox's lips trembled. You saw her? Maddox asked. Yeah, I don't know where she's staying though. Probably with you-know-who again. Maddox huffed. You know what, Jet? You're not a sprout anymore, he said, voice softer again. You don't need your mommy. Jet felt his shoulders stiffen and exhaled. He thought of the talk his mother and him had on the root deck. She'll watch the crucible when it starts, Maddox said, and she'll see you finish as well, like she always does, without contributing to the work that got you there. Jet's mouth went dry. He knew he couldn't argue with that, as did his father. He thought of the contraption again, the promise he'd felt breathing through it like a secret. Second place, Maddox said quietly. It proved you're in the running, but it also proved something else. Jet swallowed. What's that? It proved you were afraid. Something lit in Jet's chest. Afraid of what? He said, leaning forward now. Did you see my time? Did you see the gap? Afraid of running with the big dogs, Maddox said, no heat in his voice. Jet's heart thumped again. I am not afraid of anyone. I know I can beat anyone. No one is invincible. It's obvious, Maddox said. You've always been afraid of going up against better competition. The words sliced cleaner than if he'd shouted. Jet looked down. His eyes stung suddenly. He clenched his jaw, willing the burn away, finger and thumb rolling the strings so tightly now he poked himself with his nail. You think I enjoy this? He asked, voice low. You think I like being the son who hates? He cut himself off. Maddox watched him carefully. Who hates what? Jet swallowed his thought back. Nothing, he said. Maddox sighed, long and tired. No, say it. The one who hates what? There was a crack in Maddox's voice now. Not anger, something close to humiliation. Jet had to come up with something fast. He was able to admit to his mom, but saying it to his father's face was a different story. The one who hates the idea of not being preserved. Jet gasped out. Yeah, well, talk to me when you're my age and not preserved yet, he said. Wait as long as I have and tell me how you feel. Do you understand that? Do you ever think about what it's like for me? Watching your one real chance drift behind contributors who didn't have it half as bad as I did? The room seemed to tilt. Jet stared at him. His one real chance. He hid his scoff. The words were a fist through his lungs. I do think about you, Jet said. His throat hurt. You're all I think about, Dad. Then show it, Maddox said. Silence pressed in. Jet blinked, and his vision blurred for half a heartbeat. He pressed his tongue to the roof of his mouth, hard enough to hurt, forcing the tears back as he wondered what he'd say if he brought up what he was really thinking. He knew asking it would make everything worse, but something in him reached for it anyway. But what if there was another way? He asked, thinking of what his future had in store for him. Maddox looked at him for half a second and then belly laughed. Jet shook his head, confused, sinking back in his seat. There is no other way, Maddox replied, still laughing. Jet couldn't tell if his father thought he was joking or if he truly couldn't imagine a world that existed on a different track. Jet stared at him in disbelief. The words blurred at the edges. He thought of his mother, the words that came to him just the other day. You don't have to choose. You don't have to do this. There might be another way. He clung to that memorized line like a handhold. The words sounded like his mother, or like the thought he'd heard When his fingers touched the gray glass, the voices had merged. Maddox misread the silence. He leaned back, rubbing at his jaw. Listen, I'm not saying this to tear you down, he said. I'm saying it because I believe in you more than you believe in yourself. That's what a father does, Jet. He sees the potential his son can't see yet. He refuses to let him waste the talents that have been given to him. A bitter taste rose in Jet's mouth. I'm trying, he said again. Well, you need to try harder, Maddox said. And sometimes it feels like you're holding on to something I can't see, like your head is somewhere else when it should be on the track, like when you're trying to look through dirty glass. Jet froze. His hand went still on his kit's string. Did he know about what was hiding under the sink in the relief room? For a moment, he was sure Maddox knew about his legend, the secret, the way his mind had started drifting to that hidden point whenever things got too tight. I'm not, Jet began. Maddox shook his head, cutting him off gently. And when you drift, he said slowly, it feels like you're choosing something else over what's most important. He looked at Jet fully now, eyes sharp in a way they hadn't been all morning. Like all the work we've done doesn't matter. All the time. All the credits. You're just throwing it all away. You're being fucking ungrateful. Maddox's wristband blinked once, and he checked it without thinking, like he needed a number to confirm what he already believed. The word landed like a blow. Ungrateful. Making you happy is all I think about, Jet thought to himself. Jet's breath hitched. His eyes flooded. He blinked hard, once, twice, so the tears wouldn't fall. The string dug so deep into his skin now he barely felt it. Something inside him locked into place. He pushed back his chair quickly. His chair scraped unevenly against the tile. The leg caught, wobbled, but no one reached to steady it. He wanted to fight back, but not much came out. Just clenched fists at his side. Right, Jet said, refusing to wave the white flag. His voice sounded like it was coming from somewhere deep within him. Yup, that's me. Maddox exhaled, fast, wondering how his words might finally break through. No, we're not done, he added quickly. I'm saying it so you'll see what I see. So you'll correct it. Jet stopped and nodded. Once, twice, motion with a purpose. I gotta get ready to go, he stated simply, water in his eyes. Maddox reacted. I said we're not finished. I get it, Jet said, standing anyway. He stood there ready, but saving his strength. I'll be better. Maddox's expression pinched. That's not. I'll fix it, Jet said, loud but simply. He couldn't look at him. He stared at the wall instead, at the orange light that seemed like it was yelling at him. You'll see. He thought of the glass again, hidden and waiting. Maybe it could unleash him, even for a minute. Jet, Maddox said in a tone Jet couldn't decipher. I'm on your side. Jet let out a breath. He searched his father's face for proof. He found fear. He found concern and a few others he couldn't place. He found all the above and memorized every last one. Yeah, he said. Okay. He turned toward the hall again. How am I being ungrateful? he thought, the words beating in his skull. By the time he reached the relief room, the sting in his eyes had dried into something colder. But somewhere in between, hidden in pipe and memory, the thing that could fix it all was there for him, or ruin it. He didn't care which. He turned the shower on, reached under the sink, sat on the floor with the glass in his hand, and let the sound roar. It felt like he lost, and he would not feel that way again.